There are several vocabulary terms that you need to know for this atomic structure, periodic table, ions, and isotope unit. The first word you need to understand is an atom. An atom is the parts that make up elements. The smallest particle of an element is an atom. Nucleus. Nucleus is the centermost part of an atom. It is tiny, it is dense because it has all the mass of the element, and it's in such a tiny area of the atom. The atom is virtually mostly made up of empty space, and it has an extremely small and dense nucleus that consists of protons and neutrons. And there's an electron cloud that surrounds this nucleus that contains electrons. Neutron. A neutron is a neutral part of an atom. It has no electric charge. It is located in the nucleus, and it has an atomic mass of 1 AMU. Protons. Protons are the part of an element that always stays the same. The number of protons will not change in any element's atom. The proton also repels other protons, and when they do this, they create a strong force that is present in the nucleus and keeps the nucleus intact. The proton has a positive electric charge, and it has a mass of 1 AMU, and it is inside the nucleus. Electron. Electron is a negative part of the atom. It stays on the outside of the nucleus in something that we call the electron cloud. Sometimes in some of the models, they talk about an orbital or a shell. And what that means is that that is the path that an electron takes as it moves around the outside of the nucleus. The electron has a mass of only 1/2000th of an AMU, which means that it would take about 2,000 electrons to equal the mass of 1 proton. Atomic mass. Atomic mass is the average of all the masses of an isotope of an element. Atomic mass usually shows up as a form of a decimal on the periodic table. The atomic mass tells us how many protons and neutrons there are in the nucleus of an atom. So if you add the number of protons to the number of neutrons, it will equal the atomic mass. The atomic number tells us how many positive charges there are inside the nucleus of an atom. So it tells us how many protons there are. The periodic table is organized by the atomic number. Subatomic. Subatomic means tiny, small things in the atom. So subatomic particles would be proton, neutron, electron. Relative mass. Relative mass means when you compare or relate the mass of one object or substance to another object or substance. For example, earlier I stated that it would take 2,000 electrons to equal the mass of 1 proton. I'm relating the fact that the electron's mass is so small, such a tiny fraction, 1/2000th of an AMU, that it would take 2,000 electrons to equal the mass of 1 proton. Isotope. An isotope is a type of atom where the number of neutrons has changed, so that the mass has also changed. Let's talk about some more words. Ion. Ion is a type of atom that has now become a positive or a negative atom, and we call them ions. What has happened is that it has lost or gained an electron. If it has lost an electron, the atom is now more positively charged, so they call it a positive ion. If the atom has gained an electron, it has now gained more negative charges. So it is now a more negatively charged atom. They call it a negative ion. Repel. Repel means to push away. Okay, and when you push away, you create a strong force. Okay, so when those protons are repelling each other, they create that strong force that keeps the nucleus intact. Dense. Dense means that it has a large amount of mass in a small area. So the nucleus is a very tiny piece of the atom, but it contains all the mass of the atom, so it is very dense. The atom is mostly empty space, and it has this extremely small, dense nucleus that contains all the mass of the atom. Valence electron. Valence electron, this is a special electron. When we do the Bohr model, those electrons that are on the outer shell, those are called valence electrons. And we use those valence electrons as clues to help us understand all the patterns and properties of the elements on the periodic table. Model. We use models in science to explain something or to visualize something that is too large to see or too small to see. For example, I can't bring the solar system into the classroom, so I will use a model of the solar system so that you can come up and see it on the desk. Or the atom is too small, so we will bring a larger version of the atom into the classroom so that we can see the different parts of the atom. Electron cloud. In the modern day model of the atom, we no longer believe that there are orbitals or shells. So we know we call the area outside of the nucleus the electron cloud. And that is where the electrons are randomly moving around the nucleus. Electric charge. If we say that something has an electric charge, we're saying that it has some amount of electricity flowing through it. Now you can test your knowledge. What is the smallest part of an atom? I'm sorry. What is the smallest part of an element? The atom. Central core of an atom made up of protons and neutrons. Nucleus. Subatomic particle found in the nucleus with no charge is called what? Neutron. Positively charged subatomic particle in the nucleus. Proton. Negatively charged subatomic particle. Electron. Total number of protons and neutrons in the atom. Atomic mass. Number of protons in the nucleus of an atom. Atomic number.